not ahead of the Lycan in CS, so you're still seeing what you want, despite costing more regen here for the side of Team Spirit.
And of course, bot lane, Pantomime, he's just going to drop here. Yatoro God able to pick him up on the jug. Of course, Mira going to be there in the pos 5 Rubik and natural life on the position 3 Pango. But they do manage to secure a kill there for the jug, which is a very good start here for Yatoro. And John, you may have noticed that Yatoro, he's not really struggling too much in terms of CS either.
Nah, I mean, the Pango lane does feel pretty good for Afterlife on the offlane. In combination with the Oracle, you have some pretty interesting swashbuckle plays you could try to make with the Fortune's End. A little bit hard to catch, and of course, catching a jug out when the spin is up is very hard to do. They'll try to make a move on the Mirror, though.
Won't spin out, but Yatoro going to be kind of blocked off there by Mirror, so not really going to be able to get the damage off he wanted. Panto,
Radiant's courier has
he's going to be able to find the courier on his way out.
This is almost more fun.
I'm sure they'll be just fine with that anyway. They got the items off the courier there for the jug. So far, though, 1-1. Very kind of even lanes going on here, but I suppose that top lane is probably a bit scary here for one move, considering the Lycan's just getting a bit too much. This Knight going to try to move in on the Viper, but Maposhka's going to be just fine. It's that Helm of the Dominator into the Overlord timing you get worried about, though, against Collapsir on this Lycan. Once you have that up, it just feels like they really do control the map. I'm sure they'll be just fine with that
It's
anyway.
going to be hard to clear out that pressure. I mean, the Alk can kind of clear out waves, so can the Pango to an extent. It's just not something you necessarily want, especially from the Pango. You kind of want to be aggressive. So you need to see that same momentum coming out for one move on their own offlane collapse, just having a much better time. And Knight's always low HP. Maposhka, again, just doesn't care if he drops low, doesn't care if he gets reality rifted up. It's a Viper. You kind of win the right-click trades anyway with Corrosive Skin to slow down the attack speed, the damage you do. The resources one move have to drag in just to keep Knight in lane is costing him a little bit more on Sayu, and the Hoodwink does need some levels. It does need a little bit of farm to really feel good in comparison to the Viper. You want, build up in Force Staff, Arcane Runes. They catch Maposhka again.
They do. Stun is there. Akon shot to follow, but Maposhka, he's actually fighting back. Still Knight getting a very nice crit, but now Collapse going to go for a bit of a chase. Not going to be able to secure the kill, though, as Knight is going to be just fine to survive. Collapse, though, he'll keep going for a bit more, but he has no way of locking down the CK, so can't really hope to secure his life. Maposhka, though, on the brighter side for the Viper, he's going to come back with a full reset. And like you mentioned, John, Knight's already low HP. Chances are this top lane's not going to get any easier, as he will find Maposhka, and it seems like he'd rather almost just die now as Knight. But he actually stick charges up and tries to run for it. He will survive for now. And he does have a salve on the way. Problem is Toronto Tokyo is going to find him, and he even finds his courier.
Yeah, it's just hit and run. I mean, you think about the gold exchange in that sort of kill as well, right, Mike? You get almost like 200 gold for killing off the Viper. You've maybe had to drag in a couple salves at this point, negated by the regen you have just to hold that lane. You're getting some EXP, you're not finding the farm in that CK. So again, even bleeding off Viper kills doesn't count for much from Team Spirit, and an overarching viewpoint. They are getting some good moves down bot, though.
Yeah, nice pick up. Yatoro can end up going down as Panto's able to pick him up. Very nice initiation. Going right after the jug after they saw the spin being committed. They do take him down, and that's going to be a very important pick-off to make against Yatoro, considering how much the CK is currently struggling in terms of CS. Very, very important to try and slow down the jug a little bit more as well, and with those kind of kills, they are certainly doing so.
Here, keeping the jug down and kind of just building up in Pango. That's the bigger thing. You're having a great start here for Afterlife. Double Bracers up, Arcane Boots up, can just sustain his harassment out now. Level 6 has the role to play with as well. So you have the strong start from Pangolier, at least to start to make some plays down the line. You're starting to get some space out for your Alchemist to start working that jungle now with level 6 up in Melodule. And it is a Radiance Alch build-up. So kind of what we've seen some Alchemists kind of gravitate back towards, back to the Radiance build. No one to punish. And it's not the strongest laning start for Melojule, but if he still finds that Radiance time, you're pretty happy here for one move.
Rotation's top lane here, John. You see the Oracle rotate up with the TP. Panto just making sure that Toronto Tokyo can't do as he pleases on that mid-tiny. I do think as well, going back to your point, John, the Radiance does pay off even better here because you're against the Lycan. So naturally you're going to enjoy kind of burning down those creeps and getting the evasion chances going. That's certainly going to be a bit more valuable here this game, I think, as top lane, Maposhka Gonna get rifted up. Stun is there. He should go down, but Collapse is gonna try and force something out of this. Fate's Edict, though, gonna make it rather tough, but Seiyu still gonna be chased down. With the creeps, he might have enough, but it doesn't seem like he wants to free the center away. So Collapse instead, he's gonna back himself out on the Lycan. And for one move, they get away with a free Viper pick-off. Meanwhile, this Alk in a bit of trouble, but instead they'll go after the Oracle. Melajul gonna try and fight back. Eventually we'll pick up Mirror anyway. So a bit of a support trade going on. Toronto, he's still sticking around here on that Tiny, but without a blink up to initiate, it may be a little bit challenging to burst the Alk down. Seiyu would be a lot easier though when he does find it with a very nice avalanche toss combination. Toronto Tokyo not quite getting what he wanted, but it's almost just as good.
I think you're getting a lot from Team Spirit and movement out. Sure, you're investing a lot of heroes to go up top. You're kind of giving open space for the Pango to work bot lane, but there's no one to follow through the Pango because everyone's forced into the top jungle. You already scouted out the stacks in the triangle as well, and you're preventing the build-up in the top jungle, but they're committing here.
They are committing, John. Knight's going to rift up. He might actually make it out as Panto's going to pop the Fate's Edict and the Purifying Flames. And he's actually going to survive, but it was a very aggressive movement from Knight. They had the vision from the Alk, but whew, just trusting his teammate, making sure he thought the Oracle was going to save him, and that he does.
And it saves them, it doesn't save their top tier one. Lots of space bought out by Team Spirit to allow Collapse to just push in with that Dominator. A good early objective allows them to keep that aggression up in the top jungle if they want. Look at all the sentries one move are already forced to put down on their top jungle early on. 4 sentries watching every corner, just to ensure there's no vision game. And look at the triangle. They get to drop this ward down. They know the stacks are there. They're going to be able to contest in Team Spirit's side. So you might have taken back your top jungle, but you're going to lose that triangle if you're not careful.
They might at least find Mirror, and they will. Afterlife able to take the kill for himself in this Pangolier, and well, they are taking the stacks now. Melajul seems to be aware that something might be a little bit awry here in this triangle, and maybe just Mirror moving up for the rune scared him off a little bit and thought, oh, I better take the stacks now. So Melajul, go ahead and take care of it for himself. The Ancient's naturally going to take a lot longer, though. I do wonder whether Team Spirit trying to rush for something in this triangle, but it doesn't really feel like they have the team fight anyway to force a fight this early on in the Dire Triangle, so it looks like they're just going to let this happen.
Yeah, you've got the info, but it's like you pointed out earlier, Mike. Without the blink on Toronto Tokyo being up yet, it's pretty hard to start these fights. No one really naturally initiates on the side of Team Spirit outside of the Tiny with blink, so you're just kind of forced to sit and watch. The Ancients haven't been started out. As you mentioned, it's going to need a little bit more in Melajul to really tank through that one. And they've got room bought out on the map. There's so many supports that have to stick around the Alk, have to stick around the jungle. That top lane's still pretty free for Collapse to split push. Bot lane has been completely free for Yatoro the past 5 minutes, almost feels like, maybe even longer. So your jug buildup is still there, keeping up with the Alk almost. And Collapse still has this really good timing into the helm of the Overlord. And that is still going to be a bit painful for one move. Now, for one move, they're inching towards the blink here for Afterlife. That's also going to be the launching point for them to get even more aggressive play with their combos. Still have to watch any free kills, though.
Knight, Mirror, he's got the rift up. Bring Knight closer, back into Maposhka, but do they have the control? It doesn't seem like it. Once again, Panther will be there with the TP out, and Knight, he's going to be just fine to survive, as he'll even place a nice little sticker down there. And that is, again, one of the weak points. They don't have great lockdown, not without Toronto Tokyo, and will now Collapse. He has to be very careful as they'll land the bushwhack into the Fortune's End, and eventually with the sharpshooter, surely they've got him, and they will. Panto able to take the kill with the Purifying Flames. Another nice kill for one move.
They get big core, they punish Team Spirit for sticking around too long. Great smoke out from one move to get that angle, and you know they're building up. They threaten with their Pango. They don't really find anything else beyond that. It's not the longest cooldown in the world. And they're buying space out from Melajul. Already has a Sacred Relic. Radiant's not too far off. Team Spirit are smoked up, though. That blink on Toronto Tokyo is up, and they have a good angle to find a kill into clearing out some stacks.
Yeah, Knight, he's going to run right into them. And of course, they will go right after the stacks if they get away with this. Knight, well, he's going to try and take the creeps while he can. He's actually just hitting the large camp there, trying to get the creeps before they do inevitably go down to Team Spirit. Do they go for the Ancients? It feels like they're lacking a bit of damage here, Team Spirit, but instead, They can certainly rotate mid and try to force the mid tier 1 tower. The blink is there. Toronto with a great avalanche out. Onto 2, into the Omni. No messing around from Yatoro. Commits the ulti straight away.
Dire's middle tower
And now they
has
can
fallen.
certainly look back at the Ancients.
Yeah, they've got a lot of room, clearing out 2 tier 1 towers already, taking control of top jungle, again forcing all those resources from one move to keep control there. Now getting the room to clear out that triangle, and you got a couple of large camp stacks, so I'll go for one move. The Ancients are still a lot bigger. They've got the clear for it. They have pretty good AoE clear, just with a value point in Nether Toxin, of course Avalanche Toss, and just the Jug with a Maelstrom up. They get a lot of farm for their trouble.
Oh, nice blink away. Toronto, he's just fine. He'll throw an avalanche back the way of Knight. And they retreat at the perfect time. All the creeps taken from the triangle. That was all the Alchemist farm being robbed away from Millijul. And you're not going to be happy about that as one move. That's a lot of gold to give. No. And now the net worth lead, it swings the other way, John. Team Spirit, they'll hold the 1k net worth lead.
You're up against an Alchemist team. You know, it doesn't feel good for the Alch team to be behind even by 1k, less than 1k on the opposing team, because your Alch is still siphoning all that gold away for himself. You are still ahead of here on Millijul, 1.5k, 1.4k above that Jug of Yatoro, but it doesn't feel like enough. Your Alchemist needs way more gold to be on top. He's working on to that blinking next. They are pressuring this bot lane now, though. Knight is taking the front with a Phantasm. They spot out Mira here.
Yeah, nice swashbuckle out from Afterlife. Just checking though, Mira gonna actually swash towards the right side, but it won't matter. Sharpshooter's gonna land, and Afterlife had the vision anyway. In the meantime, they'll go back towards the bot tier 1 tower. However, there is a big smoke rotation coming from Team Spirit. Afterlife may not be able to avoid it as he does get tossed right into the Golem of Collapse. And he is going to drop. They at least get the tier 1, but they might lose Panto, as well as he'll try for the TP and barely makes it out. Just barely.
Yeah, that's on edge. Manchester escape. I mean, you still get the bigger target here for Team Spirit. You lose your tier 1, but you find that nice kill on the Pango, which again has to have a really quick build-up. Yatoro is all alone here, though.
Nice spin away, avoiding the bushwhack from Seiyu, but Knight could certainly chase him down now with the rift up, though. Yet Toronto is going to make his way over, and they have the Omni. Knight's going to go down. Millijul will try to trade here with the Sharpshooter. It's just not going to be enough. They don't have the follow-up damage. At least they find Mira. There's one positive in all this, and that's they find Mira on the Rubik. But it goes back to the point that we were making earlier, and the panel was making as well, John. Afterlife needs to always be there to set up a team fight. Otherwise, you just can't fight.
Yeah, they're so reliant on the roll. It's really hard to catch out something like, say, Yatoro with a spin, as we've already seen. The spell immunity just kind of ruins him. They need a jump factor there, and without that, it's hard to lock in those bigger heroes. They are still getting that build up. Millijul has the space now to just work his triangle once more. No vision left there from the side of Team Spirit. They've only got low ground wards by the mid lane. So you're kind of allowing the Alch to still build up, still maintain that lead. 2k gold up now, going for the ace next with a blink up. It can still be a bit of a big target. Like, Jug doesn't deal with high physical HP cores all too well, high armor and high HP cores, as you are sort of reliant on Omni, but you could always go Blade Fear. He is going for the shard next with a Basher on top, so you still have ways of working through that. Yatoro, though, still being surrounded here.
Has the spin up. It's not going to be the easiest kill in the world here onto Yatoro, unless Afterlife can blink him with the Rolling Thunder, but even then, it's just, you've got to time everything perfectly here. Seiyu, at least going to land a bushwhack to start, and I believe Yatoro may have spotted him out. Does go for the spin away. Really does go back to the draft as well for one move. It's like, how do you start these fights? Well, they'll try after the Viper, but he gets knocked to the low ground.
Dire's middle tower.
It's just everything going wrong right now for one move, and if you can't set up with the Rolling Thunder, you've just got no hope in forcing a team fight. In fact, Roshan's going to get started now that the Rolling Thunder is gone.
Yeah, that's a pretty awkward moment for one move. They save their ward, but they're forced to deny it, and Roshan, without the Rolling Thunder, it's not something you can really contest. I mean, you could try with a pushback. It's not the easiest. And of course, Collapse having this strong start in Lycan, already with the drums on the helm for the Overlord. And it just simple, putting out Rosh. First Age is going away of Team Spirit. Major start for them, less than 1k lead standing, but again, you're up against an Alc. That feels more like a 4k lead just because the Alchemist is siphoning off so much from the other cores. Afterlife still trudging behind. Knight bottom network core. Your pos 1 CK is not getting space in comparison to the Alc. I mean, this guy needs something, like, he's gonna need a BKB, he needs the Echo Saber, he needs Blink, even the Shard, and that's all kind of a pipe dream with all the farm being taken by Melojul right now.
Yeah, it seems like they've kind of accepted the fact that Melojul's going to need to carry this game, as he does blink away just in the nick of time. Very close call there for Melojul. Blink was there in time this time around as Team Spirit. Well, they're still smoked up. They still want to try and invade the Dire Triangle, and they will do so. Nobody from one move around to try and contest this. This Knight might actually make his way up. He's under vision as we speak of Team Spirit.
Under attack.
They'll get a nice D word off though at the very least. And now Team Spirit, they're the ones on the vision. But to be fair, I don't think they really mind being under vision right now with the Aegis up on Yatoro. All spells available. There's just nothing to be afraid about here as Team Spirit.
Yeah, you're finding everything you could possibly ask for. You've got the Ags build up for Toronto Tokyo, which is interesting. You know, we're big fans of the tree volley, Mike. Keen to see what Toronto Tokyo can do with that. I mean, you know, you don't have that morph combination, which is always kind of sad. Morph Tiny was the funniest thing we've ever seen from, I think that was a China game, so it's still great to see a Tiny cute us up. I mean, he has a Blink Echo, he still does a lot of damage. With a tree volley on hand, it's kind of memey, but it does give you good clear for, say, CK illusions down the line, and, you know, when they're all clumped up, it's good punishment. And look at TS, they just go on to high ground, no fear.
Yeah, I mean, 19.5 minutes in, they're like, well, if you don't want to fight, we'll just move into the high ground. They will stun up Collapse at the very least and have got the like it. A great start now for one move in this team fight. Team Spirit, oh, they're going to move back in. Toronto Tokyo out onto the Oracle, takes the Panto, and now the Omni goes through.
Oh,
Melody's
no.
gonna go down. They bought back on the Oracle to try and save the Alc. It was too late.
Are scanning.
Really nice plays from Spirit. Like, they lose Collapse, but they find the Oracle. Oh, Knight, no.
Oh my god, that was so sad to watch. Melojul had his unstable concoction. He had no one to throw it to. He made matters worse. He got self-stunned, self-damaged. Yatoro just cleaned up, and they had to declump because he didn't have that much HP on Knight. And the high ground just continues. Like, you killed a couple of supports, you killed the Lycan. Sure, the Jug's your issue right now. With the Aegis, nothing's scaring Yatoro.
Great double avalanche and a toss out onto Seiyu, but he is going to be able to scurry away. He's trying to protect this top lane, or rather bot lane of Barracks. Asher now up with the shards on the Jug, and you've still got 2 minutes on that Aegis timing, but actually backing off? No, not quite. Toronto just back in onto Seiyu as Melojul. They're going to try and defend. It's a great bushwhack to get started as Maposhka. He does die first. Onto Toronto Tokyo. They do at least find the Tiny as well. Maybe they find Collapse here. He'll go for a run, but he has been locked down. Rift back in into the stun, and, well, one move. They do get a decent team fight to go their way. Like, they'll even find the dominated creep. So not too bad of a high ground defense to come out. John, if I am fair, it feels like it's more Team Spirit just playing very aggressively.
Yeah, and it feels like they're just looking for that end game, you know, clumping up. They're just wanting to play aggressive. They feel strong, and they are, but you still have to respect some of the control coming out from one move, especially if they find that roll angle. Afterlife has been doing a good job with that blink. Downtime of Rolling Thunder isn't that high, so you've always got a lot of aggression lined up. In comparison, Yatoro didn't have Omni Slash there, didn't want to overstay his welcome, knew that if he died fast, without Omni Slash, his secondary life just kind of feels pointless. So he has to play it safe. His team goes a bit too far, still by himself, but no one's around to punish him. And the Aegis still stands for about 50 more seconds. You're still in a really strong position for Team Spirit. And you cleared out at least the bot tier 3. Rack still stands, so it's not unplayable for one move. For one move's part, they have this potential to turn this into a bit of a ratting game. It's an alchemist, of course. You are seeing Melojul going for the travels. He could just work the map, start jumping around, clearing out creep waves, applying some soft pressure on objectives, and maybe slow that pacing out from Team Spirit. And it does feel like you still got some item spikes lined up. Your CK is still trying to build in the BKB. They will smoke up here in one move, though, knowing the Aegis is set to expire soon.
Absolutely. See what they find.
Dire's middle tower is under
See
attack.
a Toro, he's going to go for that large camp, so Melojul, he might be able to blow him up. Aegis is going to expire now, but Yatoro, he just reacts way too quick. Way too fast on the jug. Gets a spin out in time. In they go though with the Rolling Thunder, trying to get something set up, but nothing's being done. They'll go after the Dominated Creep instead. That's all they get out of this team fight. They committed quite a bit there, John. False Promise, Rolling Thunder, Chemical Rage. Reality, or rather the phantasm of everything was committed, apart from the Sharpshooter. They only got the Dominated Creep.
Yeah, that's not good news for one move. That allows Team Spirit to confidently push into an additional tier 2. They've secured control of the outpost. Roche still has a little bit of time until it's up, so one move should be able to regroup for that next objective if they want to. Maybe just stall out, keep farming up with your Alk, play with the Travels here, work your way into a CKBKB, and try to take it from there. I don't know if that's enough though. It's a pretty late, almost a pretty late BKB timing, 9.7k net worth on Knight. He needs to be able to jump in, right? Like you need your Alk and your CK and your Pango to all be able to jump onto one target, blow them out, and then go from there. If you can get that chain stun off, we've seen it a couple of times on high ground defense, it can work out. It's just finding that circumstance, finding that condition for one move right now. It's difficult. Team Spirit, reactions are too quick. Their aggression is just constant. They've got a good lock-in on the top jungle. They can just avoid any movements from one move for quite some time.
Absolutely. You can see the positioning right now of Spirit. They just hang around the Roshan pit, just waiting. One move. They do have a bit of the map though to farm right now, so it's definitely a good time for them to try and catch up and put up a real fight here against Spirit. I say real fight, they are ahead in kill score right now, actually 12 to 14. It was those past couple team fights that have kind of gone badly here for Spirit, though. They have five-man smoked up now. One move. They seem to be aware that there is a smoke ongoing. Melojul does hide in a tree line, and nobody else shows the map here from one move, so see where this smoke ends up. They'll head into that triangle of the Dire. Scan was committed, and they find nothing with that either. They might just camp themselves here, though, and just farm here instead.
I don't think you mind for Team Spirit. Does still force one move to play pretty clump up, and you've got the Travels and the Alk. You're not really able to go out and shove in lanes. You don't have the vision to kind of play that way, so they're forced to play a lot more defensively on one move and just not leverage that flash farm the Alk can have on hand. You have to say though, Mike, I'm excited because Toronto Tokyo's Ags is almost up. 600 gold away. Tree Volley will be in play. It doesn't feel like it's going to do a lot of damage, but you know, I believe it was buffed right in this patch, so you know, maybe it's actually good and we just don't really know.
I mean, look, Johnny, he's already kind of hitting for 300, right? So, you know, maybe he gets, it's at least going to do 1k damage in total in an AoE. And then he's going to get a crit stick, and then suddenly you're in big trouble. We'll see what happens, John. At least we get the memories, right? At least we get to experience the beauty of Tree Volley one more time here with Tony.
Oh,
It's the son of Ice Frog. He's Ice Frog's favorite son, in fact, I want to say, is Toronto. They're trying to move in and get aggressive, but one move, they are really just sitting back and playing passively.
yeah, and they're just trying to play under what vision they have. They have a little bit of forward vision on their top jungle, so I would just kind of eyeing for someone who's isolated, but all of Team Spirit's there. And you're at the low ground disadvantage here for one move, pretty hard to pierce up. So, again, they're just kind of clumped up. They're clearing a few camps in Melojul. Your Alk is still farming, BKB coming up next. It still doesn't feel enough. It's only a 4k lead for Melojul over Yatoro. That's at least one major item, but it just doesn't feel enough for the Alk to just stand there and fight. And there's that Ags, Mikey. There we go.
Yeah. This is my favorite part. Let's see how much damage it does, though, to be fair. I mean, like you said, John, maybe it doesn't even do damage. Melojul, smoke broken, ward down, avalanche up. There's your Tree Volley, and it doesn't really do much. It doesn't do enough. So it almost feels a bit trolly at this point, doesn't it?
It does. I mean, it does force a reaction out from one move. They kind of self-stun again in the unstable. Already popped that Chemical Rage. Could just wait that out. Roshan isn't even up. They don't check at the right time for one move. They know it's coming up soon, though. Big fight over that Rosh off the back of this next engage.
They're under the vision of Team Spirit right now, so the Omni Slash gonna fly right through Knight. Yatoro's already got one down, and it's the pause one of one move as they get Panto as well. All they can do is run here, one move. Let's get out of there. Afterlife, you'll keep holding them back, but Collapse wants to go for a bit of a chase as now they jump in with Toronto, with the tree volley, with the tree throw. There's just trees everywhere. Onto the high ground, Team Spirit, they don't even want the Aegis jump. They don't want it. They just want this game to be over already.
Dire's bottom
Yeah,
barracks
they don't need it,
fallen.
Mike. They know they're ahead. Again, it's 5k over an Alk. That's more like almost 9k just on the nature of that hero. High ground push doesn't take too long. They know they're down. They're rolling Thunder for some time here. And there's just no threat. One move has no big play unless they say line up a bushwhack with the acorn shot into a roll with a huge fortune send root. Maybe it still feels like you lack damage there.
Knight, he's forced to pop that BKB very early on. They might at least find Toronto out of this, and they do. Durax is down, but they'll keep trying to punish his Maposhka. He's going to TP out with the Ghost Scepter and be just fine. Still, the chase continues as Afterlife. He does have Rolling Thunder in about 5 seconds. At least find somebody. Well, Collapse, he's going to get caught out here on the Lycan, so they do get another. Very nice kind of punishment here from one move, and maybe this actually opens up the Roshan for them.
It does. You're 2 heroes down on Team Spirit. You don't have your jump without the Tiny. So that's the opportunity for Roche for one move. Roche number 2 with a free shard. They've got a big opportunity. They still have to clear through a couple of tier 1s, and off the tier 2 still stands. So no high ground threat, but Toronto Tokyo doesn't want to give it away here.
Well, he's going to be quick, John. Roshan's already almost down. They're going to keep going for this, and eventually we'll have it as Toronto. He can blink in time, but he gets a free volley out. It's actually a fair bit of damage as Panto. He's going to go down to the Oracle, and there goes Knight. Melajul, do you really want to stick around? I don't think it's a good idea right now. Omni's up in 3 seconds. Mirror's in. Avalanche not going to connect, though. Mirror gonna stun him soft this time. Melajul, he'll throw another stun out. The sharpshooter's there. Now the Rolling Thunder. They're locked down for a while here. Yatoro will get the spin off in time. He's got the Omni ready to go back. No, he already committed it. Never mind. He's trying to fight the old-fashioned way with the right clicks, and they've got him. The Alchemist gone for the first life. His Afterlife is forced to run away from Collapse, but now you leave the Arc to die. Melajul will do just that. He will go down, and so will Panto. Dying back on the Oracle's Collapse. He'll keep chasing Afterlife. Won't be able to get the Pangolier, but it's all about objectives. They'll go to the top tier 3 tower. They'll try to get the Megas up.
I mean, you know, everything's down again. That's you dealing with Aegis. It was like no problem for Team Spirit. Get a good jump in to disrupt that initial Aegis fight. Yakorish not even scared. He doesn't have Aegis on his end. He still has to spin bailout. They will bide their time in Team Spirit. It just shows you the confidence they have. They still jump in. They know they can deal with 2 lives on the Alchemist. There's no threat there. They still find a good angle to drop them low into Roshan with the tree volley. This Axe is actually paying off from Toronto Tokyo. Like, yeah, the damage is not bursty, but it's ripping through the supports, and that's more. It's more than enough.
Oh, he's not going to take it. That's a bit sad.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, I mean, I thought he'd take the bottle, he'd fill it up, you know? He gave it away to Yatoro. He's a responsible mid laner here, Jonathan. It was very good to see from Toronto Tokyo, but you would have loved to see, wouldn't you? I believe you would have had, what, 700-800 right-click damage with the tree volley? With double damage?
Yep. Gotta love it. You know, still want to see that crit stick, but again, as you mentioned, Toronto Tokyo is playing responsibly. Mike going for the BKB. Speaking of, you also have your full BKB done for Collapse, so it's much more free to run around. With all the spell immunity coming out in the chorus, locking them in now, and that chain stun, it just feels impossible. One move, they still have this one last Rax to play with, no tier 3s. They've got to throw their bodies forward. If this doesn't pan out their way, this could be the beginning of the end already.
Well, they're fighting to the DD rune of Yatoro. Look how fast he takes that Rax. Already one range Rax gone. He might just wait for the next spin and just move in with DD rune again. Like, how do you stop him if he just spins his way in? You've got no way of locking him down. Instead, though, they're going to smoke up here. Team Spirit through the mid lane, it seems, is where they're going to go. Trying to avoid breaking the smoke unless they see Melajul, and that they will. He does show up, but they won't make the jump in. Not quite yet. Instead, Team Spirit, oh, they've got the spin back up. They could just move into the final racks. See if they can get it done, though. Bushwhack will hold down Yatoro. He's still fine though to go for an Omni Slash and just get rid of Afterlife immediately. The creeps will get rid of the racks. At least not all of it yet. Melajul gonna try and move in with the stun out, but it does nothing. Keep in mind, Afterlife brought back. Trying to defend this high ground, but with the HP of the melee barracks, there's just no chance of that happening now, surely. And it won't. Nice spin out. Stun out. Melajul in trouble again. We'll have the false promise to help him out. They are getting plenty of damage off here on Melajul. So he'll back off with the typical rage for now, but instead they've got Afterlife. A dieback immediately from the Pango. And they call it. They've had enough. GG's call. One move. It's an interesting kind of draft, John, and I believe it was Lizard again who did say that it felt like they were trying to cheese teams.
Yeah, I think it just good.
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Team Spirit's turn to ban.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Team Spirit's turn to pick.
Radiant team pick.
Monkey King.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team pick.
Night Stalker.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Team Spirit's turn to pick.
Ripper!
10 seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban.
Admiral Concar.
Ten seconds remaining.
Team spirits turn to ban.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining. Radiant team ban.
Team spirits turn to ban.
Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds Radiant team pick.
Team spirits turn to pick.
Luna. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Mirana.
Choose your hero. Ten seconds remaining. 5 seconds remaining.
Let the sky
Oh, this'll
tear down
work.
the unworthy.
Okay, that was unexpected.
Isn't that a pretty thing?
better already.
Yeah, I'm on the same boat as Lizard and Danog. I think you have really strong lanes for Team Spirit to play with. They almost have the same playstyle. You can kind of launch this Monkey King off to a faster start. For one move, I mean, it's more play. Night Stalker offlane has a little bit more to give you. The Luna has some early presence that you can itemize around if you manage to get the timing. So there's some more potential to be aggressive. They're already playing here.
Oh, nice arrow.
Jeez.
It's going to land right onto the backside of the Night Stalker's afterlife. He's running. He's actually making it out, but no mirror. Barely able to get the right click off in time to secure the first blood. No uphill misses coming out either, and I believe he got kind of lucky with the dice roll as to how much damage was dealt with that final right click. Still, first blood already secured, and another game, Jonathan, where we have a 5-on-5 engagement before the bounty runes have even spawned up.
They just run down mid. If they find a punishment, they could poke here, but it doesn't have the leap, so maybe a little bit more. No level it's committed yet from Pantomime. Does go for the impetus now. It's good harass out. Should at least equalize the bounty runes for a bit.
The battle begins.
Interesting decision though, right? Because you could have gone for... In fact, hold that thought, because bounty runes are going to be kind of fought over here, and it seems like Seiyu is dropping rather on the Hoodwink now, but is going to be able to make it out. Should be a 2-for-2 trade on the bounty runes anyway. What I was trying to say, John, is I'm kind of surprised they didn't go for maybe the level 1 enchant there for Panto, because it felt like you might have been able to get the kill onto Mirror. I suppose with the impetus, you're just going to look to dominate the lane anyway, but it's a interesting choice.
Yeah, I think it's down to what you want in this lane as well, down bot, right? Like, you pick the Enchantress to block off the Boris, so you know the Beastmaster is going to go for the Axis, and you want to have more presence against that, which the Attendance or the Impetus allows you to have. If you go for enchant level 1 here, yeah, you can still go for slow plays, try to chase down, but it drags your Luna away from the farm. You just want her to focus in, build up in that lane, get that early start into the madness, and just gonna go on. So impetus does feel like a good call. I think enchant, the aggression is nice, but it doesn't tie into what you want to do with Luna, man, right? Like, in the long term of the laning phase, for the first 5 minutes at level 1, enchant's really not gonna do much, and both sides are blocking off the large camp anyway. You are seeing Pantomime trade quite nicely.
Yes.
Arrow, gonna connect. Mirror, he's manning up. Panto doesn't have a Fairy Fire here, John. He might just drop, though he tries to... No, he's not gonna make it.
My pet loves
But all the supports,
venison.
sometimes they just decide to not back off, and... Well, Mirror, he knew he had a Fairy Fire, and the Ench didn't.
He got good timing on the use of his salve as well. As he was getting the kill, pops the salve. A great start already for Team Spirit down bot. Up top, a little bit of a back and forth. Saw you kind of playing tag, at least sniping out Maposhka's courier, but you're still kind of having that start in the Monkey King that you'd want. Lane's a bit more shoved in. Afterlife can at least harass out a little bit with a Void. You don't have like a stun setup lane for the Monkey King to just play around, build up Jingu freely outside of his Boundless. So it's not like an overwhelming lane for Yatoro with the Winter Wyvern around. However, every time that Arctic Burn is up, it does hurt Sayu a lot. You know, already down to very low HP. At least has the headrest to regen true. I don't think Miposhka minds too much. He's still getting the good zoning he wants and giving Yatoro that smooth start you want to see the Monkey King. Interesting to see though, Yatoro is going for the Battle Fury here, Mike. So Power Treads into Battle Fury, kind of wants to keep up with that Luna's farming pace.
It certainly feels like a bit of a greedier kind of build to go here, especially with the draft of Team Spirit seemingly much more aggressive, but I guess you do want to just kind of keep match with the Luna, make sure she doesn't kind of outscale and outfarm you, and of course Yatoro is going to know a lot better than I do, that's for sure. Of course, how's that mid lane going? Toronto and Millijor are going to be going at it here on the Kunkka and the Tiny. So far, favoring Millijor on the Tiny, and Toronto going to be slightly behind, but should be able to catch up quite easily. Now, anything to watch out for in this mid lane matchup, John?
Not too much, really. It ends up being a pretty even farming lane. Bottle prioritization is probably more for Melojule to spam out his Avalanche Toss, but you don't really worry about that too much as a Kunkka. You kind of just want your Braziers done, you want your fast Boots done, and just run around, hit your level 6, threaten with your boat combination. You do have the supports to be aggressive down the line. Mirana rotation with the X combo, pretty scary, so they're going to have to keep your vision game up here in one move and track those supports.
Melojule sneak over and just pick himself a bounty there on the Tiny, so get away with a free bounty from the dire end of things. Little pick up from him. And missed too many creeps on his way back in either. I believe he missed maybe 1 or 2.
The prize
Back
is
to
mine.
farming though. Still 2 kills in the favor of Spirit. It does feel like the laning stage though is going to be rather slow anyway. You look at every lane and maybe the best kill potential we have is down at the rather up the top lane. maybe Mirror can, snipe Panto with a nice arrow, and in fact, he might have a chance now, but won't bother up. Because you wouldn't have the backup damage anyway from Collapse quite yet. Even with the level 2 Wild Axes, it's just not enough damage. As long as they can get that initial farm and XP up here for the Beastmaster, they'll be more than happy with the way the lane's going. You are up against an Ench anyway, so you're kind of expecting to lose the lane as Team Spirit here down at the bot side, but I think with the way the lane's going, they should still be pretty happy.
They're pretty satisfied. Collapse is still building into the Dominator typing that we saw him hit last time with Lycan. Even without the summon, still pretty good for the Beastmaster to play around with. The Luna's actually not free farming as much as you'd expect. It's still a strong lane for Knight, but it's not looking as strong as Yatoro, as they do find that kill in Sayu. So you're racking up the Monkey King and CS and the kills, and it's just down to what the Night Stalker lane's like during daytime. It doesn't do much in the first few minutes of the game. First 5 minutes feels really slow for Night Stalker. Even the first nighttime, you can be a bit more aggressive, but you don't necessarily look for those kills. You kind of just want to keep that farm game, hit your 6, and maybe play around when you have a couple of bracers, which is still somewhat of a ways off here.
Oh, Maposhka. A bit of a rock and a hard place, but even mid lane, Melajor, he's going to cop the boat to the face. I mean, they'll get Wyvern, but they lost their mid tiny for that. Toronto Tokyo able to secure a solo pick off onto that mid tiny, and that's a really bad sign and a really bad start for the tiny now. There's bot lane, a bit more action to come out. Panto in a bit of trouble, but now Knight has to be careful himself. He does at least find Mirror before he does. Well, he's not actually going to go down. He's going to keep fighting. Panto does actually drop himself on the edge. Knight's going to be fine to walk his way out. But then that ice armor he did receive, she gave him quite a bit of bonus armor to actually survive all the right clicks of Collapse there on the Beastmaster.
Yeah, you're going to be happy enough with that trade for one move, a kill coming out for your Luna. Not quite the solo EXP gain you'd want for Knight. Still fairly satisfied, not going for the Eclipse anyway, as you want to go farming here. And you're finding some wins here and there. The Luna's still having a great time. You've got the triangle fairly secured in this game. Not many wards being dropped by Team Spirit to keep track of that build-up for the Luna this time around. So as long as you hit the Mask of Madness timing, you're still pretty good in the flash farm. And again, your Monkey King is still working onto Battle Fury. The farm is looking good for Yatoro, but that timing is not in line with the Mask of Madness. Luna will have an early item advantage here for sure.
Off lane, Night Stalker. Oh, that's a very nice bushwhack. Seiyu gonna kind of save the day for now, but Yatoro is still in the chase as Mirror goes for a cheeky arrow, but not going to be able to land it. Afterlife with that nighttime, gonna have plenty of movement speed to be able to get himself out of there. Very nice save though from Seiyu's. Had it not been for that bushwhack, there was just no chance of survival.
You're just dodging really well right now in one move, trying to build up. And it's still a slow lane for Afterlife here, Mike. Bottom leftward core, still level 4. No threat of the level 6 Dark Ascension to start running around. And as long as you're suppressing the Night Stalker, even if you're not finding kills, Team Spirit's fairly happy. Again, they've got a draft that kind of wants to take it a little bit slower. They want to buy space for Yatoro. As long as they ensure he's farming, you're pretty good. Down bot, though, Collapse.
Nice setup. Panto able to get the slow off with the enchant and even had the Wild Wing Ripper going as well. So Knight gonna secure his second kill of the game here on the Luna. Happy days for him. And well, speaking of Knight, John, we haven't talked about him too much this game, but he's having a very good start. 3.6k net worth. Second net worth only to Toronto Tokyo there on the mid Konka, so happy days so far for the pos 1 of 1 move.
Yeah, I mean, he's already got the Mask of Madness flying out as well, so the flash farm can truly kick in for Knight now. And the triangle, it's not been spotted out too much by Team Spirit outside of that one flash with Maposhka. So you still have a lot of flash farm left, and if Team Spirit don't kind of apply that pressure in that area of the map, you could have a problem, because again, your Monkey King's going to take a long time to match that farm. Despite the aggression coming out from Yatoro, the Battle Fury is just a much more high net worth item, right? It costs a lot more, the farming rate of Monkey isn't as fast, and you're seeing Panto kind of look for the aggression, clumping on Collapse.
He's doing a great job of it. Collapse going to drop once again as Melajul. He's going to rotate on the Tiny to make sure they have the damage out, and well, quite frankly, I don't even think they needed the mid-Tiny. The Collapse, or rather Toronto Tokyo now, is going to show up on the Konka with Mirror on the Mirana, but 3v2, they don't want this fight. Instead, Knight can be focused down, but in the meantime, Mirror has gone down to Melajor's. Now Toronto Tokyo may have gone a bit too far in the Konka. Very nice body blocks coming up from Panto, but ultimately he will still be able to walk his way out. But for Melajul, he got a 2-for-1 special there, John. Finding the Beastmaster and the Mirana right after.
That's pretty scary. Those are big kills to give away to the mid-tiny. That blink timing for Melajul is going to be lining up fairly quick here, Mike. And it's kind of like what we said about Team Spirit last time, right? They needed a fast blink on their Tiny to get aggressive. Same thing goes here for one move. Once Melajul does have the blink up, you can expect the Tiny to take the initiative. Keep that pressure up. Kind of punish Team Spirit for maybe going for a more farm-heavy playstyle here. And they're already doing a great job of cutting off some top camps as well.
You make a fine crater.
Well, they actually commit the roar there just for Panto, but it seems like they really just want to get rid of this Ench and start moving into that tier 1 bottom tower. So roar being committed. Be the first kill with that being used up. Still, now knowing that, one move might be able to find some more aggression here in this game number 2. Does seem like maybe there's not too many plays they can really make. Everyone from Team Spirit kind of just huddled off together, apart from Maposhka. And it seems like instead they're going to try and trade the tier 1 towers in the opposing lanes. But to be fair, one move, not really started yet on the top tier 1, but Afterlife eventually will get going. Meanwhile, mid lane, Toronto, Tokyo, and Mira going to show up, seeing Panto once again. They won't be able to close the gap though. Toronto, unable to get the X off onto Panto, is going to have to watch him walk out. And in the meantime, they are still taking the bottom tier 1 with just Yatoro.
It's a slow go, but eventually it will give way.
He kind of just went back in. Arrow does connect, but it seems like he's confident he'll be able to survive with just the heals out. And Toronto kind of just misses everything.
Yeah, they don't manage to connect. It's that point where the Ench with Untouchable up, you have to land every Tideburner really to get the kill. They get one, but they don't really have a creep wave to kind of sustain through. That does buy them space to clear out quad. I think this is also a lot of space for one move though. The pressure up top's ramping up. They've got Dark Ascension here.
Maposhka showed himself, but there's your Dark Ascension being forced out. They've got the curse to play with as well. Knight really wants that tier 1 tower and will find it. Maposhka's still trying to find a way to set up though, but instead, Afterlife looks like he has been caught, but no X back into the arrow. Rather, they do save it for the boat, but Afterlife might still... No, never mind, Toronto. He was confident enough with the Tidebringer to get the job done. So go for another. Seiyu trying to run with the sharpshooter out, but it's just not going to be enough. Mira securing the kill with the urn. Team Spirit, well, they lost the top tier 1, but they clean up this top lane, that's for sure.
Find a really nice set of kills. Great kill on Night Stalker, slow that progression down on the Armlet. Again, one move probably doesn't mind too much. Knight, he's still getting space, goes into the triangle, still no aggressive wards dropped by Team Spirit. So very secure position for your Luna to farm up. Doesn't quite have the network lead, should be able to find that soon. Toronto Tokyo is still maintaining number 1 off the back of his aggression. And they are starting to play around now. They've got that blink on Melajul, they've got aggression lined up.
Roar out again. They really want Panto dead, but a big avalanche toss is there. Melajul coming in just in the nick of time. It's Toronto trying to help out, but doesn't have the boat to throw out. It's collapsed. Still juking and jiving, but eventually Melajul does secure the kill. Toronto looking for an X-back. Is going to go on to Seiyu. Once again, the boat almost up. They'll just secure Seiyu's life.
Furled your sails, but
They want a bit more, though. Toronto, Tokyo. Going to move in with Yatoro. They'll see Afterlife. They'll go for a balance out, but you're not close enough, surely, to be able to lock him down. And eventually, he will get close enough to the tier 2 to just walk away.
Lots of commitment out from Spirit, trying to play up against the tempo that one move is showing. And one move's done a great job of making this a harder game for Collapse. Right, the impact of your Beastmaster, the combination's still there, but he's not pushing as much. They catch one though.
Nice blink away, though. He was very calm about that one, Melajul. Not reacting whatsoever to the X, just kind of standing there and getting ready to blink out. Team Spirit will go into that mid-tier 1 tower once again. Roar is not up, so you don't have the greatest setup here for a team fight, but Toronto, he can go for the X back onto Panto. We've seen this one before, though, and they miss again. Now, Melajul, he'll get an avalanche toss out. Collapse, in a bit of danger, is going to run his way out of the Wukong's command of the curse. Going to lock 3 of them down. Panto's gone, and so is Melajul. Afterlife, well, he's going to go for a run with this Dark Ascension, but they've lost 2 big targets already. And that's with all of it being missed. They didn't get the combo they wanted.
Yeah, they don't get the combination, but they still have a lot of team fight to follow through. They're not just hinging on that Arrow X, the Winter's Curse and Wukong's combination still really strong. The damage output coming through from Knight there, just making short work of that soft squishy Ench, and that allows him to push that mid-tier 1. So taking more control of the jungle, maybe start to apply those forward wards that they need to see.
He just TP'd right into the outpost here, John. Collapse does have roar up, and we've seen this before. He loves committing. He won't do it this time, though. Instead, Melojul has shown up on the mid tiny, trying to go after Mirror, but he's going to be all right. Instead, the target will now be Maposhka. But he's also going to be fine to just fly his way. Oh, they love just killing off Panto with the roar. There's no hesitation from Collapse. Every time he sees him, he will just commit the roar. He just wants that kill every time.
Yeah, again, it's been a bit of a slower game for Collapse. They just kind of want to get the kills, try to ramp up, get the levels going on that Beastmaster. The cooldown on that roar reduces massively as the levels go up, so just finding some kills accelerates that process. Again, the concern for one move right now, Mike, is your lead on Knight just isn't that big. It's 8.3k up against a 7.2 and 7.1k Monkey King and Kunkka. Luna's almost like the out, and I think Lizard points this out. You need to farm a lot on Luna to really feel big. You have a great platform potential though.
Melojul? Yeah, he shows up. He kind of went out of the fog there and does get caught out with the X back into the boat, and now the Torrent also going to connect as Melojul. He'll go for a run, but the curse is going to connect from Maposhka, and Melojul just cannot blink out of this. They show up, but they were just underneath Hawk Vision anyway. Team Spirit, a very easy setup. His Afterlife, he'll go for a run, but he might just drop as well. Nice armor toggling, but doesn't matter. For now it does. Still on the run. In the meantime, Panto is going to go down on the Ench. Afterlife somehow still running back towards his fountain as Mirror. That's a very cheeky arrow, but he's not going to land it.
Tower is under attack.
Nice angle from Mirror, but Afterlife, I think he got a brief glimpse of it.
Yeah, it's a bit messy again for Team Spirit, right? Like, they get the X, they don't get the arrow, they don't even get the Boundless. That's why they kind of miss out on Afterlife, but it doesn't matter. Like, you're still finding other targets, you're still causing havoc onto one move, making it fairly uncomfy for them to kind of get an angle back into these fights, and they never back off. Team Spirit are still holding that mid lane.
Alright, not gonna land. Seiyu, gonna go for a run, but Melojul, no, not gonna be spotted out. Maybe he moves back in though, Toronto. Like a pretty spicy kill here for Melojul, so he will try with the toss back into Seiyu. They've got Knight around with the Eclipse out as well, but Toronto, he gets a BKB off, and now the Cold Embrace will save him for now as the arrow gonna fly right through Toronto. He gets the boat out, and he is gonna be fine for now, but Afterlife gonna show up as Toronto, somehow still running. In the meantime, they've caught Mirror on the Murata, and he will drop. They even got Maposhka. He does commit the curse, but he's still gonna go as well. Bit of a wasted curse there. On the bright side, they save their mid Kunkka, but they are going to lose this mid tier 1 tower.
And you still have a lot of push coming out from one move. One of the benefits of the Luna, as the panel pointed out, easy to shove in objectives after a team fight win. And you're feeling very secure now at Knight. You've got that early BKB 2k lead, not massive, but enough for the Luna to play with. Straight into the Roche they go. Team Spirit, you could try to play around with the Hawk Vision. They need to find that Roche. They can't allow it to go off for free. Wukong's is almost done, almost off cooldown for Yatoro, but great timing from one move. They're playing around this Night Vision really well. They've got the advantage every time it's nighttime with the Luna, with the Night Stalker. They just can see a lot further and kind of just prevents Spirit from getting their angle. So with a Roche, this should allow them to play a little bit more, but Team Spirit, man, they're still kind of clumped up and they smoke up here.
They're going to try and force the fight. Still one move. They are looking like the stronger team right now. At the very least in terms of the way their carries are built up. If you look at this Luna, the Knight, he's having a pretty nice game right now. 11k net worth lead on that Luna. Certainly getting to the stage where you are starting to get a little bit more concerned here if you are Team Spirit. I say that, but they are smoked up and just rushing towards one move. Nice boundless strike out from Yatoro into an arrow follow-up, but they don't want to fully commit. Yatoro gonna back himself out as now the toss is there. Maposhka gonna be fine. Meanwhile, Toronto Tokyo, he's caught Afterlife on the Night Stalker. They'll bring him back into the boat, into the torrent, and they'll take him down. Yatoro, 4th kill of the game for himself. Melojul, he'll TP out of the Tiny. Team Spirit, I mean, even if they look like even if their heroes look a little bit weaker, they're not afraid. They still went out the fight.
Yeah, I mean, one move does mention back off properly. They don't sacrifice the Aegis there, but they're not the ones taking initiative here, Mike. They spotted out the smoke with their ramp ward a while ago, forcing Team Spirit to kind of wait out that opportunity for the kills. They still find something for their trouble. And one move is still just kind of playing this farm game. Yeah, you're getting the build up on Luna. Now you're going into the shard. You might be going into that Silver Edge next for a little bit more damage. You're still not really overwhelming the Monkey King with net worth. And it's still within 1k gold here for Yatoro with a Battle Fury. And he already has this nice little crit stick up, so the damage output's getting up there. Once the BKBs fly in for Team Spirit, it feels dicey for one move.
He does. They're going to try and force a fight now. Collapse going to be scattered out. Elajul kind of just going after the backside, but he cops the raw. On the Tiny, he's unable to get the initiation off, so now he's in big trouble. X-Torrent is there. Even the arrow to connect, but a nice Force-Staff. Gonna buy him a bit of time, but surely not enough. Melajul's gonna drop. Afterlife, he'll keep trying to get this team fight going. The Wyvern is gonna run away and have the Cold Embrace back up and available if he needs it. But he doesn't. Yeah, that's pretty rough. This is your Aegis timing as well. As one move, like you're running as a unit trying to use this Aegis up, but it's just not happening.
Nah, really not. I mean, you just don't see the good openings for a Knight to walk in, use that BKB. Toronto?
They know the Luna is in that tree line. Arrow will connect, locking him down, but they don't have the follow-up yet. It's being very annoying from the low grounders. Now the Hawk Vision gonna make this team fight a lot easier for Spirit.